worry, I'm not gonna make you sit through a YouTube crawl sequence. I wouldn't do that to you. Hey everybody, Adam here with WhipWorks, and today I'm going to show you how I make my glow whip, which of course is a Star Wars inspired bullwhip. Glow-in-the-dark paracord is a really cool product. It has a couple differences from regular paracord. It's a little bit lighter and it's a little bit more narrow, which I have to make some adjustments for, as I'll show you later in the video. So the glow whip that I make is a two kind of pieced bullwhip. The handle is plaited in regular paracord and the handle design is inspired by a lightsaber hilt, while the body of the whip is plaited in the glow-in-the-dark paracord to kind of look like a lightsaber. The glow whip that I'm going to be making in this video is inspired by a bullwhip that is briefly seen in The Bad Batch. So the first thing we need to do to get this whip made is to make a handle design. Okay, quick note here. This video has been in the works for over a year and a half. So you're gonna see me go from long hair to short hair to long hair again. So please bear with me. I've received several comments lately asking how I design my handles. So I thought I'd briefly kind of give you a breakdown here. I have this grid paper that I made specifically for handle designs in Photoshop, where the grid is running on a bias. It's on a 45-degree angle, where typical grid paper is straight up and down and left to right. So because of the way that a whip handle lays on the handle, it's going around at a 45-degree angle. So it doesn't make sense to make handle designs with a grid that's going up and down. So I have this stuff that's on a bias for me, so that as I'm designing, I can just go straight up and down the grid paper here. To start a new handle, I have this labeled with numbers here. I got 0 to 26, so I could do several handle designs here, because a 16 plat handle only needs to be 8 wide because the strands are overlapping themselves. So each, crossover, excuse me. So each crossover is essentially 2 strands. So you've got 8 of these boxes laying out here will make a 16 plat handle. So I'll measure out here, I'll go from 4 to 12 for this handle. So just gonna draw my straight up and down. I've got my source material here. I have an image on my phone of a screenshot from that Bad Batch trailer. I'm just gonna start designing here. This reference whip here so that I can figure out how many inches each of these little units that I've created in this handle design are going to be. So each of these units is 14 plats. So 14 plats, we're gonna start here. 1, 2, so 14 plats is about 3.5 inches. That works perfectly because I'm gonna do a 12-inch handle for this piece, which means that 3 of these spirals next to each other will be about 10.5, 11 inches, and I'm going to plait about 1/2 inch of all gold on either side of the handle. So this works perfectly. I am very excited to get working on that handle. Now that our handle design is all ready to go, the next step is to start construction on the whip. Now for the purposes of this video, I'm not gonna show you how I make the body of the whip, the core 6 plat and the 10 plat layer. I'm gonna reconnect with you when I finish that and show you the special things I need to do for the glow whip, which is all in the overlay. So let's get plaiting. have our 10 plat layer, and I thought before I dug into working on the overlay, I'd give you a breakdown of the differences between what I normally do on a whip and what I'm gonna be doing for the overlay on the Glow Whip. So imagine that each of these is a 10 plat layer. The transition is the spot where the steel rod ends and the thong begins. So I'm just notating that with a cute little T here, T for transition. So on a regular whip, I have a 10 plat layer and I simply plat 16 plat layer over the top of the entire thing. At the transition, actually just below the transition, I then wrap a 1/2 inch piece of leather, and then I do my transition knot at this place. On the Glow Whip, I have to do things differently because the thong of the whip is plaited in the glow in the dark paracord, whilst the handle of the whip is done in regular paracord. I will start from down here and I will plait the 16 plat layer of glow in the dark paracord around the transition. With artificial sinew, I'm gonna very tightly bind it to the whip, and then I'm going to cut away this excess material. And then I'm going to plait the handle, and I'm actually going to plait it, ooh, squeaky pen, over the top, just a little bit. And once I've plaited it to about here, I will again take some artificial sinew, represented by red, and I will tightly bind it. And then I will trim away this excess material. In between these two spots of artificial sinew, I'm gonna take my torch and I'm going to singe these two paracords together. I'm gonna melt them together, so we get a really tight bond. And then over the top of that, since this is a little bit thicker, instead of doing just a 1/2 inch bolster for this transition knot, I do a full inch thick bolster just below the transition. So I hope this kind of helps you visualize what I'm about to do. Specifically for this project, I got in this bright yellow glow in the dark paracord. So I'm gonna get working on the thong of this 7-foot Glow Whip. I wanted to mention something that I didn't talk about on the whiteboard. Here I have the 16 strands that I would normally have for any whip, but you'll notice I have 2 additional pretty short strands here. I have these because this glow in the dark paracord is more narrow than the typical paracord that I use. So at the transition where the whip is the thickest, if I just do 16 plat with the glow in the dark paracord, I can get gaps in between the plats. So to keep that from happening, I'm actually gonna start the transition at 18 plat, and I'll drop these 2 strands pretty soon into the thong. But this way we get nice full coverage all the way throughout our thong. I just gave this a roll, so we've completed the, 18 plat layer, the thong of our Glow Whip. I have to get this portion out of the way so that I can plait the handle all the way up to where we need it. So I'm just gonna undo this. And then I'm just gonna take it, and I'm not gonna trim it yet. I'm gonna trim it later, after I've finished plaiting the handle. So I'm just gonna take this, I'm gonna take that piece of tape there, and I'm just very gently going to wrap this around here. So now that's out of the way, and we can start plaiting our handle. While we were sitting here, I just received an order for a 10-foot Indy going to Michael in Pennsylvania. So thanks a ton for that order. I can't wait to make that for you. And I think I'm gonna actually start working on that this evening, and I will finish this guy up tomorrow. See you then. Note This is a really difficult pattern. It's non-symmetrical. It is very sparse. It's using all of my brain power to keep it accurate, and I'm having to redo several plaits because I notice mistakes. But it's better to catch a mistake early, so I'm gonna keep my eye on it, and I'm gonna get back to work. As you can see, I transitioned from that little band of gold that I was talking about up to a diamond plait here, just so that it really stays firm while I bind this. I'm gonna bind this right where the handle plaiting meets the thong plaiting. I want there to be as small of a gap between the two bindings as possible, like we talked about on the whiteboard. I'm gonna trim these about 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch, and then I'm gonna fray them with my fid, so that when I singe it, the material has a lot of surface area and it melts really quickly. So while it's hot, I can then shape it with my 1, 2, 3 block here. I have this all taped up, it's rolled out. I am really happy with how this spiral pattern has turned out. Now I just need to leave this to dry, and then I need to get the accent knots on there, give it a wax, and then this whip is gonna be ready to crack. Here's my UV flashlight. I think I got this for like $20 or something on Amazon, but the UV flashlight is a great way to charge this paracord. So let's see how well it looks. Let me get all my lights turned off. All right, so here it is under the UV light. Let's see if we can get it to hold a charge here. This is by far the best way to get the UV paracord, the glow-in-the-dark paracord rather, charged. And then once we turn it off, you can see here that spot that the UV light was close to it. It holds a charge. I make several different styles of the Glow Whip, and I also have a lot of different glow-in-the-dark paracord colors. So for instance, here's this one. This one's inspired by Obi-Wan Kenobi's lightsaber. I can't remember, I think I call this one the Master on my Etsy shop, this handle design, and this is the blue glow-in-the-dark paracord. And then this one's one of my favorites. So this is the green glow-in-the-dark paracord, and then I have gold, and you can see here, I do this thing that I had never done before. Come on, focus, there we go. Where I add a third color only on this little spot right here. That is to represent the button on the lightsaber. And I also do that here on this other one. You can see that little piece of red accent. So that's another technique that maybe I can show you sometime. It's really difficult to do and it's pretty tedious, but I think the results are really neat. Because the glow-in-the-dark paracord is a little bit more narrow, it tapers down really nicely to a pretty thin point. So it has a very nice fluid motion. So there you have it. If you want to check out the Glow Whip, you can see them on my Etsy shop. I have a link down below. If you have a favorite Jedi or Sith Lord that you'd like me to make a custom Glow Whip based on their lightsaber hilt, please reach out to me. I love custom projects like that. I'm a huge Star Wars nerd, so this project was a lot of fun to work on, and I've had a lot of fun over the years coming up with different handle designs based on different Jedi and different Sith. If you liked this video, please be sure to give it a like or a subscribe if you want more whip-related content. And if you have any questions about the whip making techniques that I used in this video, or any ideas for other videos you'd like to see from me, please be sure to comment. And as always, happy cracking. And today I'm gonna show you unique new look. The human touch was denied a bank loan.